All right, today I'm going to talk about the I won't mentality. It seems like a lot of time nowadays, a lot of people are in this not necessarily I can't mentality. It's the I won't mentality. Now, a lot of times, like when I say that, people are like for instance, like if I suggest like, hey, look, someone it just came up like my treadmill just broke and everything. I'm looking for a new piece of equipment and everything. I suggest like, hey, look, pick up a rowing machine. Oh, I can't because that's too intense for me. Bullshit. It's you can, you just won't. You gotta switch in a sense that mentality of like that you can't to you won't. So that's the mentality that a lot of people are in. Is that people just are content being where they are. They don't want to sit there and push themselves forward to get better. So, in an instance, like when it comes to addiction, a lot of times people think pretty much it's just drugs and alcohol and everything. Unfortunately, like a lot of people overlook that you can be addicted to behaviors. You can and of course nowadays the most common thing is that you can be addicted to food, and of course people like, oh, you can't be addicted to something that you need to survive. Two prime examples of being addicted to food are Lay's and Pringles potato chips. Lay's, bet you can't have just one. Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop. They're basically, those companies are basically advertising to you that, like, look, here is our product. You will become addicted to this shit. Once you pop, you can't stop and everything. So yeah, a lot of that garbage food is designed for just that, is so that you continue to keep buying that stuff because uh between like the salt and like the fat content that's in that garbage food and everything, it's designed to get you addicted and everything. So what you need to do is like realize oh hey, look, I need to get rid of this stuff, just like the you need to get rid of the I can't, or like in this instance that I'm talking about, this like I won't. So like for instance, using like the opening example I use, if for instance like your treadmill breaks and I'll sit there having an experience building out like a home gym. Hey, look, get a rowing machine, and your first response is that like, oh well, that's going to be too intense and everything. It's not too intense. You can set it at the lowest level and kind of ease into it and everything. So now, are you going to necessarily be an Olympic rower right off the bat? No, chances are you're not. And not only that, but your chances are you're not probably going to get to that that level. That's not the case though. The case is when I suggest something like that, and you are immediately think like, oh well, I can't because it's too intense. Nah, no, you can. You just won't, because you don't want to put in the work to get rid of that mentality that you're just sitting there like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna sit here and I'm completely fine the way I am. I don't want to become better. No, get rid of that mentality. Think of it as not that you can't, is that you won't. You don't want to become you don't want to get rid of these behaviors that you're in a sense addicted to. You're addicted to staying at this level of existence when you know that you are capable so much of going all the way up here. So you're in the mentality that you use the words that I can't, when in fact it's not that. It's that you won't, because you don't want to become better. Because a lot of times, with most people, when they look at it, they have oh well, it's too much work. I don't want to put in that effort and everything. It's just too much to do. It's what I'll sit there and argue is you don't you go to work to be able to pay bills so you can support yourself, because nowadays you kind of need a source of income so you can support yourself. to have like a roof over your head, to get food, to pay for transportation to get to jobs, so you can get that. You can have like water. You can basically like have basic amenities to survive. So you wouldn't necessarily like, oh well, I don't feel like going to work today, so I'll just skip out. You wouldn't default on that responsibility, yet you're defaulting on your responsibility of taking care of yourself. Now, the the concept of becoming like an Olympic athlete, like I said, that's not the point. The point is to get to build yourself up to the point where like you can be like the best version of yourself. So like now, like a lot of people, this prime example, are obese, if not morbidly obese. So in this instance, you're in a position where you want to lose weight. So like getting back to like the food concept with like the Lay's and Pringles, where they basically, like I've said, are advertising to you that you will become addicted to stuff. You need to get, in a sense, like rid of those addictive foods. Now, like of course, there's also like I mentioned, behaviors. Like you could be addicted to like coming home and just doing the Netflix and chill. Like okay, I had a long day at work, I deserve to sit down and chill and everything. What you need to do is, instead of setting roadblocks in your way to kind of, in a sense, default on your responsibility of taking care of yourself, you need to set roadblocks to flip the script and everything. So like for instance, if you need to set up like a gym bag and everything and put it right in front of your door, so on your way to work you're basically tripping over like, oh hey look, I need to pick this up and everything, and as you're going out the door you have it, and like you're setting a roadblock in your way to set yourself up for success, rather than like you get home at the end of the day of work, like I said, you just Netflix and chill. You have your bag, like, oh well, hey, I have my gym bag, so like, well, why don't I go there? So like you start off, you want to start off slowly, like using the rowing machine. You like you don't want to sit there and like set a world record when you first go in. You go in and you just start using it, like you use it like as like a lowest intensity that you can possibly use. And of course, over the first week, like what you do is like maybe you do what you do is maybe you just do 5 minutes, and then you get into like a stretching and stretching afterwards, like kind of like the yoga flow, and the kind of ideas like I did in the previous video. You do that, so you spend maybe like 20 30 minutes at the gym for the first week. Okay, then next week, okay, well I've done 5 minutes, let's see if I can do 10 minutes. And then okay, I did 10 minutes. Well, third week, okay, let's do 20. All right, now after like a month, okay, well I can do 35 minutes, no problem. Let me start upping the intensity on it. So it's one of those things where you build yourself up to it. You don't sit here and it's like a car. A car can't go. Most cars, I mean, sports cars can go from 0 to 60 in seconds, but like most cars that most of us would buy don't go from 0 to 60 in 2 or 3 seconds. It takes start like probably 10-15 seconds to get up like to that speed. Like for instance, when you're pulling on off ramp or onto the off ramp for the highway, it takes you time like with that off ramp to kind of get up to speed, so that way you're pulling onto the highway to merge with traffic. You're not, you can't just sit there from like at the side of the highway and all of a sudden like go from 0 to 60. It's like that's what the off ramp is designed for. Like, kind of get that idea. Like, you kind of have to ease your way into stuff and everything. So like instead of the I can't or I won't mentality, get into the mindset like I can. I just need to start building myself up to that. So like you need to, like, in a sense, like I've said, like flip the script of like getting rid of those behaviors. Like they can, like, in a sense, I use the example of getting addicted to coming home and just Netflixing and chill, and you're really not doing anything with your life. You're basically just floating through life. So like with building building into like a routine where you set yourself up like with roadblocks. Like I use the example of setting up a gym bag and the door, so on the way out you are tripping over, so you have to grab it and everything. It will start to bleed over into other aspects of your life, because once you start to see success with this stuff, you're going to be like, oh hey, look, I would just build myself up to be able to do like an hour of rowing with no problem, and like I used to basically be sitting in a chair like all day after work, just my phone scrolling mindlessly on social media, or just watching a bunch of Netflix shows or whatever. Well, what else can I accomplish? It gets the gears rolling. Like, okay, well, I've always wanted to get into writing a book. Well, let me get started, and like so that's just another thing that will bleed over. So like you could start writing a book. You could start maybe doing podcasting on like any number of subjects that you're into. You could be into role playing games. You could be into like any like a mythology, like a religious mythology, like a Nordic, Christian, Muslim, Greek, whatever. So like, okay, well, hey, look, I've had success with building myself up with the rowing machine. Let's see what I can do with get like oh, I'm big into Greek mythology. Let me start doing a YouTube channel on that. So then it starts bleeding over into that, and then like it'll start maybe bleeding over into like other areas of your life. Like, well, hey, look, my nutrition's still kind of like not where it needs to be. So let me see if I can start improving that. Let me start seeing if I can improve relationships. Let me see if I can start improving this. So this is why you want to get rid of that I won't mentality. It's not necessarily that you can't, it's that you won't. You have to, in a sense, take that first step and everything. So, and that's the hardest part, is because you're so used to doing things this way, and this is why it's so hard to break that habit, and because it's a habit and it has become a behavior that's been ingrained over the course of several years, if not decades. And it's a double-edged sword, because you're breaking this bad habit of like the Netflix and chill example, and now you're replacing it with a going to the gym and using the rowing machine. It's a double-edged sword, because you're breaking up one habit and you're trying to create another. But what you like I said, you want to put roadblocks in your way for success instead of putting roadblocks in your way for failure. So like the gym bag example that I used, that's just one example of like one way you can do it. You can like and another thing is like you could instead of going home your normal way, you could go home a different down a different road that takes you right to the gym, or like right past like a place that you know you should go. Like, oh hey, look, I've always wanted to go to this gaming store and get into like with a group to start role playing. So like you take a road that goes right past that gaming store. So you, like, oh hey, let me stop here and let me get into that and everything. So you want to get rid of that the I can't, or like I say, it's not necessarily I can't, it's the I won't mentality that you have. You want to get rid of that instead, and start being like, it's not necessarily that like I can't, I won't, it's I won't. Switch that to like I'm gonna start doing this. All it takes is that first step to start building upon success after success, and like I said, it's going to bleed over into other aspects of your life. So like I'll finish this by reiterating that you want to put roadblocks in your way in order to succeed, not roadblocks to fail.